Junot Diaz è qua in Italia appena dopo aver vinto il Premio Pulitzer per il suo nuovo libro, il suo primo romanzo, La breve, favolosa vita di Oscar Wao. Intanto, perché ci hai messo così tanto a scrivere un romanzo dalla tua prima raccolta di racconti, che è stata molto lodata e apprezzata in tutto il mondo, e perché si chiama, il titolo di questo libro è così lungo? Cosa significa?
Yeah, no, I think it's a valuable question. Part of the problem is, you could describe it as dance. Part of the problem is like going out too much, life, traveling too much. I was one of those kids who didn't get his passport till he was like 25, and so I always felt like probably compensation and just wanted to see the world a little bit. And then by disposition, I'm very gloomy and very demanding on myself. It's funny because I'm easier with other people. I don't mind if other people are late at all, but if I'm late like 1 minute, I'll drive myself crazy. It's the sort of military culture of my father. The book was difficult to begin with for me. I'm sure for someone else it would have been easier. And us gloomy people, we get depressed easy. And then I probably thought the book was I thought the book for me was important, and which meant that I worked on it probably too meticulously.
Tu hai detto troppo meticoloso. Too.
You said too meticulously. Why?
You davvero pensi di aver,
Do you really think that,
aver messo troppa attenzione? Avresti voluto
too
scriverlo
much attention to it?
più
Would you have
istintivamente?
felt you had to write it with more instinct and less reason?
Yeah, no, this book has an illusion of looseness and of casualness that's a complete artifact. And I do think and the sort of raw energy of what I think the raw energy of the book is also an artifact. You actually have to work really hard for that to happen. There's this concept that writers in America I don't know so much in Europe and in Italy specific, this idea of writers as the primitive. It comes from Hemingway, it comes from Norman Mailer, this idea of this raw essence. I've never believed that. A piece of work, a piece of literature is a crafted artifact. It requires an enormous amount of attention, especially if you're trying to convince people that it's raw and casual. Then it requires even more work.
Ma allora viene del tutto naturale chiederti,
comes really natural to ask you about
sì,
is,
come abbiamo visto che Hemingway e Norman Mailer non sono tuoi maestri. Quali sono i tuoi maestri? O perlomeno gli scrittori che ti hanno influenzato di più?
Of course, yeah, no, I wouldn't claim them as my masters either. I've never read anything by Mailer that was longer than a chapter, and I didn't make a study of Hemingway. But again, the thing about America, about the United States, is that it has so many literary traditions, and I wish I could claim one literary tradition. So for example, when I was writing this novel, I was obsessively reading Edward P. Jones, who also won a Pulitzer a few years ago for his novel The Known World. I was obsessively reading Salman Rushdie, which should be very clear. This is a novel that in some ways it's Midnight's children's children, and it was very important for me to have that sort of herencia, that inheritance. I was reading an American writer named Samuel R. Delany, perhaps one of the most important African American writers alive, not very well known outside of the United States. And then there's other people who I had read before that brought me to this novel. You know, Patrick Chamoiseau, the writer from Martinique.
Texaco.
Exactly. Texaco, I mean, if Texaco could have had a baby with Midnight's children,
This
would have been the third ugly one.
Yeah.
This would have been the third ugly child. Yeah. And you know, the thing but look, what's important to remember is that even though you can name these names, who your literary parents are is actually a mystery. Every writer is a bastard. And while we attempt to name our parents, our true parents are usually hidden from us. They're usually books, I imagine, that we read, but we no longer even remember.
Yeah, we do not know.